Vengetron, you are the Feg. Hello there, Greta Juno. A new game. Isn't it beautiful? Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of Realms of Ruin. The player base is already rather diminished, but it is what it is. We've got to try our best here to support the new RTTs when they come out. It's really the first tournament in the game. And I don't know, we'll see how the balance is, I suppose, as the day goes on. I think that Nighthaunt are brutally overpowered. There is kind of an exploit, which I hope people aren't going to be utilising. I don't think technically it has been outruled, but yeah, if people are abusing it, that could be problematic. That exploit aside, we should have a decent little tournament here. It is a single faction tournament, meaning that each player had to lock in a faction at the start of the tournament. So that's nice. They're all representing the factions. There are 4 factions. There is Tzeentch, so we have Chaos God representation here. There is Orruks, which are just Age of Sigmar Orcs. There are Stormcast Eternals, which are just Age of Sigmar Space Marines. Boring. And then there are Nighthaunt, which are undead, and they're kind of like, they're like a Tyrannid Eldar hybrid, I feel like. They're pretty cool, and I think they're pretty overpowered. But yeah, I will be back once we're actually in a match. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long. The tournament technically did start 1 minute ago, so we shall see. So I believe these games are going to be popping up here in this custom lobby. Unlike Dawn of War 2, there's not really many custom lobby games because they've got a functioning ranked and a unranked matchmaking. So why would you make custom lobbies? I don't know. I guess for tournaments. That's about it. When patch? I don't know. I don't know, mate. I'm not really informed about these things. It's not clear when the patch is going to be. It's not clear. We're on the Christmas hiatus for the most part. So ask me again in January. Maybe I'll have some information for you then. But I've not got much right now. Venji, what's up? I don't know if I've got a stream delay actually. I might do. Back when I was streaming Dawn of War 2 in tournaments and shit. We have got a few Dawn of War 2 players playing this game. It is an RTT, as I say, so Dawn of War 2 players should be pretty good. We got Vindicare X playing, we've got Adilla, and Vindicare's brother, who hadn't played Dawn of War 2 for a lot longer than him, Dodocsin X. Adilla's taking one for the team, and he's going to be playing as Tzeentch, and Vindicare and Dodocsin are going to be playing as the Stormcast Eternals. And then all these other plebs from other games are going to be playing, presumably, Nighthaunts. We'll see, we'll see. I hope Orruks get some showing off. I think people generally aren't too much of a fan of the Orruks, but they definitely have some cool tools. I've not lost a game online with Orruks myself yet. I think they're pretty cool. Obviously, we'll talk about them more once we get in game, and I can actually show you what I'm talking about. I've never spectated a game in this game either, so I don't really know how that's going to work. But we'll see. The game is very clearly inspired by Dawn of War 2. So many shared mechanics. namely retreating. But what's cool is it does shake it up. It's not just a copy and paste. I liked Iron Harvest for the cool aesthetics and the couple of things that it did differently, and I guess just the novelty of having a new RTT game. But ultimately this game does shake it up a little bit more than Iron Harvest did. There isn't a cover system, so it's dumbed down in that sense, but it's got a lot of other unique things. So when you retreat in this game, it actually costs the equivalent of requisition to retreat, but reinforcing your models back at base doesn't cost anything. Of course, you still don't want to lose more models than necessary, because it slows you down coming out of the base, but generally you don't want to retreat out of a bad engagement instantly, because then you're just giving the enemy more time to get map control, and it's going to cost you the same either way, whether you lose one model or three. So actually, usually you want to stall for quite some time, but you need good macro awareness, because if you try to stall for too long and then you don't realise the enemy's brought a bunch of other units over there, well, of course they're going to wipe your squad before you check and retreat. So, you know, that's a little bit of a different mechanic from Dawn of War 2. It has the feature like Company of Heroes, where the points have zones around them that you control. So that's another factor. But yeah, we'll get into it. One of the really weird things about the game is that units, if they're near one another and issue an attack order on one another, they will lock into melee combat, and then you can't move them. The only way you can get a unit out of melee combat, other than killing the thing that's meleeing them, is to retreat or to inflict knockback onto the thing that's tying them up. But knockback is very rare in the game. So at first I think a lot of RTS players find this really awkward. They're screaming about, oh, you're taking away control from me. But actually, the way the game's set up, this is very clearly a design decision, and you'll see when we hopefully watch some high-level gameplay how this works out in practice. You want to be putting your tanky melee units in choke points to block the enemy, because their melee can't go past you. It's not like Dawn of War 2, where you can just get one unit to sort of tie the enemy up in melee. Let's see. Like in Dawn of War 2, you can send one unit in to tie the enemy up in melee, and then you can run the rest of your units past. You can't do that in this game. They'll all get tied up if you do it in a choke point. So, hey, thank you. Right, so we are now an observer in this lobby. Okay, cool. Yep, so we can see the spectators here. This is cool. So you have a lobby of 8, just like Dawn of War, which is interesting because this game only has 2v2. Doesn't have 3v3. So you can get a right little watch party going on. You can see here, Adila is going to be playing as the Tzeentch disciples. And we'll wait to see his opponent. Let's see if the brackets are updated. So, okay. Attack Speed Enjoyer is who Adila is going to be up against. Yeah, so we're waiting for a guy called Attack Speed Enjoyer, but if we find some other matchups first, we'll just hop over to them. We've got Dodokusin, who is going to be fighting against the winner of Azrael's and Vindicarex, who are going to be playing right now. Only 11 peeps. What, participating in the tournament? Or watching the or watching Twitch? Where's the 11 peeps? I mean, it is what it is, isn't it, Hinny? It's just the fate of RTT, to be honest. Yeah, 11 signups. Yeah, I think they've dropped out as well. To be fair, there's no prize. It's not an official tournament. Iron Harvest had a lot more, but they just threw fucking 5,000 euros at it. And I do question how much that was really worth it. I don't really think it did any positive advertisement for the game, really, when they did that. I mean, I remember they hosted a 5,000 euro tournament in the beta. I was like, what? The game had so many problems. You're going to pay people 5,000 euros to play a broken beta? Weird. These guys haven't done anything like that. So it's just a bit of a whimsical community tournament. I think there's going to be a patch tomorrow as well, but I feel like there is a sense of urgency because, yeah, dwindling player base. It's a shame. I feel like RTTs are just trying to... They're trying to sell to a market that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, this game is interesting because it's got console crossplay. Now, a lot of RTS players will scoff at that and they'll be like, how can you compete with a controller against mouse and keyboard? But it's funny, I remember Halo Wars 2. I played that quite intently when it came out, and I was the second best player for a very long time in that game. And I played with mouse and keyboard, obviously, coming from Dawn of War 2. But the best guy, who I could never defeat, he used a fucking controller, and he was on PC, but he streamed himself, and he used a controller because it was more fun. And he actually, I could never beat him. I could never beat him. So, controller can work if the game is designed to facilitate it. I mean, if you guys know anything about Halo Wars, the base building is in pre-allocated slots, and obviously all the abilities are designed to be easy to utilize with a controller. And I don't know, I've not played this thing on controller, but I imagine it's similar. I don't really know how to describe the unit control on this game, to be honest. It's odd. There's a lot of weird things that cause delays, most of which are intentional, but it nonetheless feels unpleasant to play. What do you mean you can't even move units while in your base? I don't... What do you mean? Oh, if you have the buy menu open. Well, that's not a problem. You shouldn't have the buy menu open for more than, like, a second. You just press G, and then you press, like, 2, and then that's it. You're done. It's like G2, bang, move your units again. I mean, that's fair enough, that's a complaint, but... I've not played it properly to get a high rank. I think I got top 20. I've done me 10 placement matches. I played Orruk for 10 matches, and then I stopped playing because this game had a very big problem, and I think it's still ongoing, with disconnection issues, just randomly disconnecting from the dedicated servers, and of course that means you lose ELO, which I'm not a fan of. So I was waiting for them to patch that out, and now the player base is dying, so probably not going to play any more ranked. But I figure, you know, I'll stream this today, and we'll get it on the YouTube, and it'll be another game to remember, just like the Iron Harvest tournament events that are on my YouTube. It's just cool to see what people try to do with RTT, right? We all love Dawn of War 2. We all know that Dawn of War 2 is basically the best RTT. I mean, some people argue about Company of Heroes 2. I don't think Company of Heroes 2 is better than Dawn of War 2 at all. I think Company of Heroes 2 is a lot more simplistic. It relies too much on just microing your economy, essentially. Microing lots of units in a very simplistic manner. It requires APM. No, we don't hate Dawn of War 2. Stop being silly, innit? We only hate it because we've been playing for 10 years, and it's very frustrating that we can't resolve the faults, you know? All these engine-based issues that we are quite acutely aware of that we can't resolve. But fundamentally, at its core, the core design of Dawn of War 2, well, it's the best RTT that we've had. I mean, what else? What other RTT is better? So if you hold the opinion that you prefer RTTs over traditional RTS because you don't like the chore of high APM base building and macro economic management, you don't like... You like a little bit of RNG, and you like a little bit of asymmetry. You like constant action. You don't want to be doing rote chores repeatedly at the start of matches. Then you know you probably like RTT. But what other game other than Dawn of War 2 has done RTT well? As I say, Company of Heroes 2 is really the only other one that stands out. And you know, we can debate whether KO2 or DAO 2 is better. I think that's legit. But we've had all these other games come out that have tried to do things different. I obviously tried to play Total Warhammer 3 quite seriously. Was top 10 globally, got number 2 in a load of big tournaments, but just so many problems, man. So many problems. Battlefleet Gothic Armada, same thing. Got number 1 with multiple factions there, but it was cool how they shaked up the RTT formula there, making a space combat game. I mean, that's cool, but ultimately it's a little bit shallow, and multiplayer just didn't stay. Game died. Iron Harvest obviously had a lot of problems on its launch, but they had some unique things as well, and it was fun while it lasted, and then it's dead, and now we have Realms of Ruin. I'm sure there are other examples in there. Halo Wars 2 I find weird. I find it like an RTS-RTT hybrid. It's a bit in between, but I still think Dawn of War 2 is the best. And it's sad because it's so old. Why have we not had a better one? But then we keep getting these RTTs releasing and no one plays them. It's like, so who is the market? All the RTS guys say, oh, I hate the unit control. What is this retreat mechanic? This game is just a retreat simulator. This isn't an RTS game. And then the RTT guys aren't happy because it's not got cover mechanics, or it's not got realistic like death animations and kill time to kill, whatever complaint they've got. One complaint that they've got, because it's not like their favourite game from 15 years ago, and they're not playing. So it's like, who is the market? How is anyone ever going to make a successful RTT? I don't know. I don't think it's possible, to be honest. Because you got to remember, when games like Dawn of War 1 and then Dawn of War 2 were coming out for the first time, this was pre-gaming evolution to MOBAs and Battle Royales. MOBAs obviously are the most relevant when we're talking about RTS, because so many people now that play MOBAs used to be people who played RTSs every other night. Now they just play the MOBAs. So a significant amount of that market's been removed. And you're never going to get them back. They're not interested in RTS anymore. Yeah, I agree to Doc. They just want bombastic, epic experiences. Which is why I really hope that Space Marine 2 focuses on PvE and not PvP. Because they've got this new engine because it's the new devs, so they can have 400 enemies on screen at once. I just imagine how cool Exterminatus could be with 4 players and literally fighting thousands of enemies on dynamically changing maps. And it's really easy to monetize. Oh, we got a new DLC, now you fight the Orcs. Oh, you're going to fight Necrons next. Oh, you're going to fight Chaos. We're going to fight Khorne now. And you're going to fight Nurgle. Like, it's so easy to monetize. That'd be amazing. I think if they focus too much on the multiplayer, I don't even know if there is going to be PvP multiplayer in SM2. I think that would be quite a big mistake. Here we go. We got Attack Speed Enjoyer now joining the lobby. Yeah, that's true, Baton. Dawn of War 2 is an amazing RTT, but a god-awful DAO 1 sequel. That did hurt the popularity. Ultimately, RTT is more niche than RTS, that's the problem. Holy shit, we've got an Orruk. I didn't know that anyone was going to play Orruk. Because I'm pretty sure the consensus is that Orruk are the weakest of all the 4 factions, but I think they're legit. They've got some cheesy little tactics. We'll see how this guy can use them. Yeah, the balance is quite impressive for a release game. Definitely. Alright, we're getting in game. We've got Adilla playing as the Disciples of Tzeentch over here, and we've got Attack Speed Enjoyer playing as the Orruks. Yeah, the crossbows are very good for the Orruks, because they get extra range in tier 1. Now let's see. Okay, I can move with WASD, but holy shit, that is like... Okay. I can use my arrow keys instead, because I changed all my hotkeys for this game. Can I swap player perspective? I can. Oh, this is cool. Wow, to have a nice observer mode is very cool. So yeah, this is basically the same as Dawn of War 2. They even use the same sort of style of victory points where you drain down the enemy's victory points rather than, you know, your points going up to try and reach 500 to win. You can see the pop in the other game here is capped at 6. And Adilla making a little bit of a mistake early on here. His hero here, the Magister, she is a ranged hero that can fire on the move, so getting tied up in melee by the Orruk Warboss, this is a really bad play by Adilla. You should be kiting him quite easily, and then she is meant to counter the Warboss, because the Warboss is very good in melee against these Acolytes here. So this game has a combat triangle. Shield units beat ranged units, sword units beat shield units, and ranged units beat sword units, broadly. Obviously, a tier 3 sword unit is going to wreck a tier 1 ranged unit anyway. But this controls how you want to micro around the map, your positioning basically. You're constantly... It's kind of like Dawn of War 2 where you're moving your units around to get good matchups while you're capping points on the sides. That's something you want to be doing in this game as well. You can see here the Orruk Warboss is quite defensible against things like the horrors, but he needs to be very careful right now because the Magister can fire on the move, and Adilla has positioned her in the retreat path and might be able to get the kill here. Oh, definitely going to get the kill with the ranged attacks. A bit too much of an overcommitment there. As soon as the Magister was seen rotating over, that Orruk Warboss should have been retreating. Now you'll see here these Gut Rippers in melee with the Acolytes, the Kyric Acolytes here, who are clearly a sword unit, so they're going to do extra damage against the shield of the Gut Rippers and beat them one-on-one. You'll also see that a charge ability was used here from the Acolytes on the side. Now, charges are interesting in this game. If you land the charge, you do spike damage and stun the enemy, which prevents them from retreating for a couple of seconds. And this is the main way that you wipe units with melee attacks. Oh, this is a good combo right here. So the other ability there, Sorcerous Bolts for the Acolytes, you can dodge that quite easily, and it does cost your yellow, which is essentially like power. Brilliant first-time chatters that are bots. So the ability here does cost power, but so you don't want the enemy to dodge it, but the way that you prevent that is you tie them up in melee, and then in this game, once you're in melee, you can't move the enemy, you can't move your units away. So then one of them ties them up in melee, the other one hits the balls. We might see that in play again here. No, a bit of a mistake actually by Adilla. He's blobbing up his units here, which is a mistake. They're now going to be tied up in melee against the tanky Gut Rippers. They, of course, will win. Okay, we've got the ability coming out here, the channel. This ability here from Strilka, the Gift of Tzeentch, it heals your allied troops and hurts the enemy. But caught in melee by the war boss again, so got to get out of there. The misplay here was because these Gut Rippers are stalling for ages, and the charge there from the war boss into the back is going to lead to the Acolyte being killed. Those Acolytes might get out of there. They're getting shot and retreat by the crossbows, just getting out of there alive. So the other thing I want to discuss real quick, because it's important to how this game works. Your charge, like I said earlier, it stuns them momentarily, and it does spike damage. So this is how you facilitate wipes. Because when they're stunned, they can't retreat. So then you kill them with additional stuns, you chain stun, or you hit them with ranged. This is why the charges cost requisition. It's called command in this game, but I'm calling it requisition for my Dawn of War 2 viewers. Another thing to point out here with the horrors. Horrors are really interesting. If you know anything about horror lore in Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40k, or Warhammer Age of Sigmar, horrors are really cool because they split in two when they are killed. Pink horrors become two blue horrors, and blue horrors become brimstone horrors. And you have that mechanic in this game, which basically makes horrors, for their cost as tier 1 ranged units, more durable than... I like that response. Is that Boogeyman? I can't remember. Is that Boogeyman Legacy of... Lichman? I don't know. German. Yikes. So horrors they're more durable than other units for their cost, but the downside is when the pink horrors are destroyed, you can't reinforce them back. So as long as a pink horror is killed, you are permanently weak in the horrors. So they're a bit weird. They're kind of like they're like a chaff unit. Let's see, we've got the Magister leading the advance here. Just going to get on the victory point. What's going on down here? We've got Gut Rippers against Acolytes. And a missed micro. Adilla obviously just trying to cap this point. Hasn't realised that the enemy's there. But these do not want to engage the Acolytes. They will lose the one-on-one. So that's looking like a good side engagement. Gut Rippers here getting tied up by the Acolytes. Which is again good for Adilla. And Adilla going to be putting pressure here onto the Grot Mine. Which is the Realm Stone generator building. Typically in the meta at the moment you do want to be building one of these in your tier 1 before you go to tier 2. If you can destroy this, this is going to be absolutely massive. But the Acolytes there did have to retreat. Obviously, we can see an absolute horde of Orruks coming, and a triple Gut Rippers is going to be engaging these horrors in melee. Adilla is not going to be able to get this, I don't think. He's using a beautiful channeled ability there from the Magister. That is doing crazy amounts of damage here to these Gut Rippers, but they're so tanky. They actually managed to just withstand it. I don't think he's going to be able to get this Grot Mine, but the problem is for these horrors, they can't really retreat at this point. Remember, retreating in this game will cost you command. They will cost you command. So, given that you can't reinforce these, there's no point paying command to retreat them. He's just got to stall with them. But Adilla is going to lose a lot of pop. We can see that both the players have max pop of 10 right now. This means that they are in tier 2. So we can have a look at their upgrades here. So now they have unlocked the next tier of units, which for Tzeentch is the Flamers of Tzeentch, as your tier 2 range, the Screamers of Tzeentch, and the Zangors. Zangors are the meta generally. Wow, he's managed to win this fight? Wait, what? Holy shit, I guess the horrors just brute forcing their way through. When you do kill the blue horrors, they turn into these little orange brimstone horrors, and these guys are horrible. They do a nasty amount of splash damage, which can be pretty brutal actually against melee units. Obviously, this is balanced by the fact that you can't retreat them. Well, you can, but like I said, you don't reinforce them. So you can see Adilla is going to lose some units here. I guess the Brimstone Horrors managed to kill some of those Gut Rippers. Warboss is causing problems down here. I wonder if our friend Attack Speed here has got the upgrade. He does, so he's got the Tier 1 tech upgrade here. Oh, the Warboss is going to die from the Flamers, maybe? Flamers are another unit that has Fire on the Move. Fire on the Move is actually exceptionally rare in this game. But the Magister, generally the heroes, the mage heroes, they do have fire on the move. And the reason why it's so powerful is because there's no protection modifier on retreat. You do full damage shooting at things that are retreating. So if you've got ranged fire on the move on retreat path, it's very scary. And the Flamers of Tzeentch, which we see here, they are indeed another unit that has the fire on the move. And they're going to promptly rout the Orruks from this location. So far, a pretty close game. Ooh, he's upgrading his Grot Mine. Okay, that's going to be very good if he can protect it. So he did. He upgraded his Grot Mine, did attack speed and joy. He really needs to focus on protecting this, though. Has he got any extra units coming out? Can we see? Where can I see this? Let's have a look. G. Yeah, he's getting his Slog off, which is tier 2 shield unit. So that will, of course, be very good against Flamers, because remember, Flamers are ranged and they lose to the shields. So we can see that here. This is the Slog off. Amazing unit for the Orruks. Actually, the best unit in the roster for sure. Really tanky melee fighter. He can generally tango with basically any tier 2 shield unit, and even tier 1 sword units he will beat. Very durable, and he regenerates his health out of combat, which normal units don't do. Normally they have to go back to the base to do that. Furthermore, this ability, Catching Nets here, whilst very expensive in terms of Realm Stone, is just an amazing ability, which you guys will see, I'm sure, as this game continues. It's a big conal attack that stuns all enemies in the area, and if they are flying units, they become downed onto the ground as well. And flying units can be quite important in this game. We probably will see some Screamers of Tzeentch from Adilla to try and counter this mass amount of shields that we can see from attack speed. The problem with the Screamers is they're very vulnerable, especially whilst flying, to ranged attacks. There we go, there's the nets. Stunning everything, charging into melee with his Gut Rippers. Good splitting up of his units here so they don't all blob around the Magister. Triple Flamers for Adilla. That's a lot of Flamers. Now we've got a Shaman coming out. Now we might see some Doombolts here. Not sure how much yellow Adilla has. Adilla's got a lot of yellow. He's also got some Zangors coming out now. Zangors are really tanky melee units for the Tzeentch. So this is clearly a timing push right now from attack speed and joy to try and take out this Realmstone generator for Adilla. Looks like the Gut Ripper's just getting out of there alive. Probably wants to retreat with his Warbus here. All these Flamers, remember, fire on the move. Going to do a lot of damage and even retreats out of there with his Slug off. Adilla accumulating a pretty good VP situation right now. I guess the UI is slightly bugged. It says it's a triple cap for Adilla, but it's not. So I think the UI is bugged. It's clearly, this is owned by the attack speed enjoyer. It's a 2-to-1 cap. So that's interesting. Bit of a UI bug. So we're going to get another slug off here. Triple slug off. I mean, this is pretty conventional. You typically do want to start basically trading your Gut Rippers for Slug Offs. They're both one pop, but Slug Offs are just so much better. And the fact that he's got this upgraded mine here, providing him a whopping 25 yellow every proc. The default one only provides 10, so 150% better. It's very, very impactful. But Adilla stalling here with the Zangors on the point. The Slug-Offs will definitely trade quite well with the Zangors. The problem is that the Zangors, as they lose models, they of course lose damage. Oh, Adilla lets them get wiped there. That was a big mistake. I don't know how that happened. And the Shaman nearly taking out the Magister as well. Shaman, of course, the tier 2 mage for the Orruks. And just like most of the hero-style mages, he has fire on the move. He's also got very powerful AoE ability that he can use here for 120 yellow. You can see the effect there, the Black Pit. Slows, damages over time, and causes vision impairment to any units inside it. So we've got quite a lot of losses there for Adilla, actually. Keep pressing the wrong button. Units, just getting more flamers. I really think Adilla went a bit too heavy into flamers, given the amount of shields that Attack Speed Enjoyer had, and also knowing that he's fighting the Orruks, the best unit of which is the tier 2 shield unit. So generally you want to not get too many flamers against the Orruks, because you know they're going to be getting a lot of these slog-offs. You're better off getting Zangors and getting the odd Screamer, maybe 1 or 2 Screamers. You can see the chain nets here. I mean, this is costing a fair amount of Realmstone. Remember, it's 100 Realmstone every single net. What Adilla really needs to do is, he really needs to destroy this, the here. Screamers would be a good option for it, with their mobility, their ability to fly. Split up your Zangors, get 1 Zangor down this side, 1 Zangor down that side to attack the VPs. Could be useful, but not able to take out the Slog-Offs here. And we've got Gut Rippers on the point, crossbows on that point. Looking at the VPs, yeah, they are. This is very confusing because of the UI bug here. This is actually a triple cap in favour of Attack Speed Enjoyer. You can see Adilla's VPs dropping down quite fast right now. But Adilla has an absolutely gigantic VP lead. Yeah, the nets are busted. They're the cheese tactic that I was mentioning with the Orruks. They're basically the saving grace of the Orruks. Adilla is getting more flamers, and I don't know why. I don't get it. He's fighting a spam of slug-offs, which are shield units. He definitely does not need flamers right now. He needs a couple of screamers for mobility and to kill the slug-offs, and a couple of Zangors because they're the best things to hold the slug-offs in place and to deal with the sidelines. He actually kills one of the slug-offs there by using the charge from the Acolytes, which did that damage spike and the stun and prevented the slug-off from retreating. Attack Speed should have obviously seen that coming and retreated sooner. Also, Attack Speed shouldn't really be leading with his War Boss, but there you go. And he's going to be losing flamers there. Got harassment from the Shaman down the bottom. Fewer crossbows than I typically get when I'm playing Orruk. I really like the crossbows, but this player didn't actually get the increased attack range. If I'm playing against Tzeentch, I like triple crossbows. We've got some Ballista coming out now as well. So the Ballista are interesting because they can't retreat. And they're very deadly when they shoot, as you would expect, given they can't retreat. But they're very risky as well. So if Adilla can get the Ballistas... Oh my god, Flamers kill the Shaman there! Jeez. Shaman very vulnerable to Flamers. I didn't realise how much damage he takes from them. Good god. But Attack Speed Enjoyer clearly trying to camp on the VP here. Got a flank from the Flamers. We're seeing Zangors moving down from the front along with the Magister. Magister focusing on the Warboss is the best use of her time, but this is a nice combo here. Just stuns the Flamers in place, gets the Gut Rippers into melee with the Flamers, and shuts them up for a bit. All the map control is being lost from Adilla though. The problem is he doesn't have any Realmstone nodes now, so you can see he's only got 0 income, because he doesn't actually have any Realmstone generators, which is a problem for him. He's getting some Screamers out now. Where are those Screamers? Here they are. They need to get flying and go help the Magister kill that Slog-Off. The Screamers will beat a Slog-Off 1-on-1, of course, because they're a sword unit, a tier 2 sword versus a tier 2 shield. The Screamers will win. The main weakness of Screamers is vulnerability to range, but if we look at Attack Speed Enjoyer's army, he doesn't actually have that much range. The problem for Adilla, and I think Adilla is kind of done here. The problem for Adilla is that Attack Speed Enjoyer is now tier 3 and has a Troggoth on the way. So you thought the Slog-Off was bad? Well, the Troggoth is a whole level of bad worse. The Troggoth can basically 1v1 any unit in the entire game in a melee fight. And yeah, it's just a problem. This is not going to work. He's fighting way too many units simultaneously. Oh, and now the tier 3 upgrade for the war boss. He's now on a great Gnashtooth mount. This basically makes him a super unit. It's one of the best things about the Orruks. You pay 150 Realm Stone in tier 3, and you automatically get a unit that has the value of a super unit. But you've got to have your war boss already on the field, so... Yep, there's nothing Adilla can do here. There's nothing he can do. This guy's way too strong. There is now a Troggoth on the field, which is the tier 3 sword unit for the Orruks, and as I say, basically beats anything in a 1v1 melee, and just like the Sluggoth, it heals when out of combat. So you can definitely counter these things if you're also tier 3, but Adilla can't get to tier 3 because... No, not that one. If we look over... Oh, where do I click? Here we go. To get to tier 3 would cost him 400 yellow. And he has no yellow income. Now, every time you do turn a point to your side of the map, you do get 45 yellow. But, I mean, he's just so far behind. Attack speed Enjoyer at this point is just pumping out units. Replaces his Shaman. I wish over here it told me what that was, because I can't see it. We'll get there eventually. But he's got Bolt Boys coming, and more Bolt Boys, which is really nice in the late game because you can get this here to make your Bolt Boys do damage over time. So technically the tier 1 range units for the Orruks become the best tier 1 range units in tier 3 because they get extra DPS from this, and then they get extra range from this, which is why generally you will like to rely on a lot of them. Especially because the enemy will get sword units to counter your Sluggoths from tier 2, and then you counter them with extra DPS crossbows in tier 3. But yeah, like Adilla doesn't have a sufficient counter to the bloody Sluggoths. Never mind a Troggoth and the Ballistas and the war boss and his tier 3 mount. Like, there's nothing he can do. Adilla's fallen way too far behind in the economy. He kills a Sluggoth, but like, the eco here for attack speed and joy is insane. There's nothing he can do. You can see that unfortunately Adilla has a massive amount of command, but he just can't get any Realm Stone because he had his power siphons destroyed and he had his points decapped. He should have probably been building a siphon down here a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, easier said than done, right? I think the net's probably... You have to get rid of one of the things, right? Either the range / radius of the nets needs to be lower, or it shouldn't stun. And it should probably be the range and radius. Having stuns is clearly intentional. The Troggoth here actually in a bad spot, completely isolated against a metric shit ton of ranged units. Will get taken out, but... I don't know, maybe it's just stalling. The Ballista and the Shaman over here wiping Adilla's units. Oh, the killer boss is just meleeing the base. And what you'll see here, look, every time he melees the base, it drains the VPs by 5. This is funny. He's gone for the all-in, and he's losing those units. So when your opponent gets really low on VPs, doing a base attack can actually be kind of legit. He's got his opponent down loads, but now Adilla has managed to cap that VP. Oh, the Sluggoth has gone back over there, and he has Bolt Boys here, so yeah, he's going to drain out the final bit of VPs for Adilla. There you go, boys. Yeah, too bad another one's on the way. I know, it's just futile. He just fell back way too far behind on the economy there. Great, and then it just kicks me out of the lobby. I guess it closes the lobby for everyone. That's lovely. Oh well. There you go. I think it's best of round. Best of round. Whoa. Best of 1 for the first round. Yeah, it's best of 1 for round 1, round 2. Best of 3, then for round 3 and 4. So that was a best of 1. So Adilla is gone. See you later, mate. Right, let's see. Are there any other... Lobby's up. How do I... Oh, they're gonna have to fight one another. Oh, so sad. So sad. No. Vindicare X and Dodocussin X are gonna have to fight one another. Oh, didums. No, that is actually really sad. That's a shame. Because both of these guys are gonna be playing Stormcast Eternal. I love how you say SM in it. It's SEE, bro. Stormcast Eternals. Yeah, that's sad, man. We want to see... I mean, do we know if anyone else is playing Stormcast Eternals? Sigmarines, yep. Yeah, let's do it. So we got a SEE mirror. So the Stormcast Eternals, they're just very tanky boys. Very tanky boys. They've got extremely powerful heroes. Ironically, well, not really. Their tier 3 hero is amazing, but the tier 1 hero is probably the worst hero in the game. Vindy's saying, don't worry, one of us will win the tourney. Even though one of them is now getting kicked out. Sad. I don't think the SEE are that bad. They're definitely top tier. The top tier factions are the Nighthaunt and the Stormcast Eternals, but I think Nighthaunt are the best for sure. It's just all these scrubs who aren't from Dawn of War 2 can't handle microing them. Not sure what's going on here. 2, 3, 4. What?
We are liberated.
What's he doing? Alright, so yeah. Liberators, the shield unit. Sword unit, Vanguard Hunters. Vanguard Hunters are interesting because they have little fire on the move crossbows, which is kind of cool. Cool for a sword unit.
Where shall I raise the banner?
The tier 1 hero, the Knight Vexilor. Can I, like, pan the camera? No, I guess not. Cool skin, by the way. The interesting thing about him is his ability here lets you reinforce on the field, which is actually very important.
Sigmar's hunters are ready.
Because you're generally quite slow in your early game map control as the SEE. Now obviously this is a mirror, so it doesn't matter too much, but certainly against the other factions, their units are a little bit more expensive, as you'd expect from the SM basically. And you have only 6 pop, like the Orruks and the Tzeentch. So yeah, you're delayed in your early game map control. So contesting it with this guy healing you can be very useful. Now, do we see anything different in terms of the build here from Dodocussin? Yeah, we do. We got some ranged units here. The Raptors are already out. Oh, this is an amazing catch here. Catches them with the tanky Liberators. Normally a bad engagement for the Liberators, but not so much when you've got Raptors helping you out, pew-pewing from the back lines. So now we've got a rotation. The Liberators here want to chase after the Raptors and push them away. But Dodocussin's Liberators are going to be able to tank. We've got the Hunters moving in. They will be able to deal with the Liberators. Oh, a little bit of a misplay. He moved the Raptors forward. What he needs to do there is pull the Raptors back, let the Hunters charge in and deal with the Libs, and then you rotate the Raptors around to deal with the enemy ranged units. But generally, Vindicare are a little bit outnumbered right here, where Vindicares are the units. We've got some Liberators going up to the natural VP of Dodocussin. We've now got the Knight Vexilor charging in. Remember, those charge, whilst impactful in the combat, do cost command. And the thing is, paying for that command reduces your ability to get higher Realm Stone because it delays your initial Siphon, which costs 700 command. So it is a fine-tuned game. You want to get map control, you want to win VPs, but at the same time you don't want to waste too many charges that don't help you win a fight because you're draining your command, which delays your tech. I mean, it's basically like paying requisition to use abilities in Dawn of War 2, which then makes you build your gen farm slower. Imagine how bad that would be if you spent a load of rec on abilities that you didn't need because you were going to win the fight anyway, and then it delayed your gen farm. So it's a finely tuned balance. But so far, Vindicare doing quite well in terms of the map control. However, let's have a look. Yeah, no buildings yet for Dodok. We have the Power Siphon being built here to get him some Realm Stone. Night Vexler doing a decent job chopping up these Liberators. He will obviously win basically all one-on-one matches. Have we got Infiltration for Dodok? This is a super rare upgrade if that's what he's got. No, he doesn't. Huh, they just came out of nowhere. Fair enough. Just line of sight things, I guess. You can get Infiltration for the Hunters. No, he has got it, he has got it. Look, Hidden Paths, right? Yes, yes he has. No, he hasn't. I don't know. I don't know how to read this. The X is what he's got. So, Vindicare has the ability on his hero to give shields to nearby allies, which I think is the better one long term. But wow, the map is switching around right now. We've got these hunters all the way back here. They're going to get intercepted by the libs. Normally a good fight for them, but not when they've only got 2 models. A little bit of backline harassment. Obviously a very close game so far. Yeah, and he's already got his Siphon. What about Dodok? Yeah, Dodok's got his Siphon as well. And if we look at the resources here, this is cool. You can see it here. Very, very even. Dodok actually just spent quite a lot of resources there. What did he spend that on? I'm not sure. Maybe, did he just tech? He is, he's teching. Another interesting thing to point out in this game, we might lose the Night Vexler. Nope, saved by a nice charge there from the Hunters. Another interesting thing to point out is that when you are upgrading your base, you cannot reinforce or heal. So that is quite important. If you choose to upgrade at the wrong time, you can lose all the map control. And if you end up losing your Power Siphon, that's terrible. A little bit of a misplay there from Dodok. Forgot about his Hunters there. They got wiped. What's he paying attention to? I don't know. Maybe some sort of fighting back here. These Liberators hanging around. Sending a debilitated squad down here to get onto the natural VP. Stalling over here. Doesn't want to fight with the Liberators against the Hunters. But he is tier 2, and he is going to be purchasing... Oh. He's going to be purchasing Hunters. That's weird, that's a tier 1 unit. Okay, now he's going to be getting... What is he doing? He's getting tier 1 units even though he's now tier 2. This is very strange. I don't know what the plan is here. Generally, of course, you want to get your tier 2 units out as soon as possible because they're so much more impactful. Maybe you get a couple of tier 2 units because the tier 2 units do cost Realm Stone. And then you can get some tier 1 units after, because they only cost command. You can see how the game is clearly inspired by Dawn of War 2. Oh, this VP bug's very frustrating with the UI. Okay, the choice here for Vindicare is going to be the Evocators. These guys are amazing. Tier 2 shield unit for the Stormcast Eternal. They are extremely tanky. Just innately, they can 1v1 all kinds of squads. Certainly anything that isn't a tier 2 sword unit, they can 1v1 in melee. But they've got this empowering aura, which gives a huge shield, as well as an armor buff to nearby allied troops. Now, this shield is about 50% of the HP of a tier 1 unit. Giving that in an AoE is very strong. You see here, even charging into the Evocators, they still will kick the ass of these Hunters. Look at this. And of course these are the sword dudes who are meant to beat the Evocators. Actually killed an Evocator model there, which is quite impressive. But yeah, Evocators are amazing. And obviously you back them up with the Raptors to protect them against the sword units. Both of them pop capped with their tier 2. Vindicare now going for some more Raptors himself. We can see a breakdown of what he's got here. 2 Evocators, he's going to have 2 Raptors, 2 Hunters, 2 Libs. We've not seen any big healing abilities from the Vexilla Knights. Where is it? I can't click him. Oh, because it's the enemy maybe? Yeah. No banner of the Reforged. It's really impactful, especially in the mid game I think, to use that banner to reinforce your units on the field and not have to retreat. Oh, looks like these guys have gone for the long strike upgrades. You can see this is a tier 2 upgrade that you get down here. So you can either give your hurricane dudes an ability to do AoE damage in an area for a certain Realmstone cost, or you can give them these things which have longer range but are slower. And apparently Dodok likes these things, so we'll see how they work out for him. A lot of action going on all over the place here. Evocators tying up 2 units there should go quite well for them against Liberators and a ranged unit. Oh, but you see there a massive empowering aura there on these guys. Huge shields. Raptor Hurricane doing some big damage there, and the Knight needs to run away. These guys not really achieving a whole lot here because they're shooting into shield units. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment here from Dodok in the ranged units. Probably wants to get some more melee out. He's going for the Hunters, but ultimately he is out-teched here. Evocator's just too strong. I think it definitely can be done, attack speed. You've got to get at least 2 grots, and my recommendation would be to get the upgraded bombs on your hobgrots and exploit them. But the Slogoths trade pretty well against the Evocators. I suppose that'll be a matchup we'll see soon. This is the ability there that Vindicare's gone for, the AoE ability instead, with his Raptors, rather than the longer range. So we're seeing some Prosecutors here. These are clearly the tier 2 sword unit for the Stormcast Eternals. Very good against the Evocators. They've got an extremely powerful flight charge ability here, Heralds of the Righteousness. You see, it does cost a lot. Twice the amount of the charge for most units, but it's extremely powerful because you can use it from flight, and these guys are very fast while flying. The counter to them, of course, is to shoot them out of the sky, clip those wings with a nice crossbow bolt. But looking like a great engagement here for Dodok. He's actually going to lose those Hunters. A little bit of a misplay there, but he's got a lot of ranged assets here. Well, he needs to reinforce them, actually. I guess they seem to be taking forever to reinforce for some reason. What's going on down here? Just Hunters running around, backcapping constantly. I mean, just good play here with the map control from Vindicare. Let's swap back to him, see what he's got. Yeah, so nicely positioned his Raptors here to deal with these guys, but they're not actually on the point, which is a mistake. He should have had them positioned on the point to stop the decap, because he is going to kill them, but he did, you know, he's bled a little bit of VPs there, which weren't really necessary. Ooh, this is interesting. The Doc actually built this, the command boosting building. This is very not meta, because it only gives you +9 command. You already have like +30 income by default, whereas you have 0 Realmstone income by default, so generally seen not as a very high priority upgrade. But yeah, the longer the game goes on, it will help him. He's already behind quite significantly on VPs though, which is a little bit problematic. Is the Doc taking up? He is. Yeah, he's going tier 3. Stormcast Eternals have an absolutely bonkers tier 3. They get these guys called the Storm Drake Guards, I think. They're basically dragon knights. And they can wipe tier 1 units instantly with their abilities. The tier 3 hero as well for the Stormcast is just bonkers, so durable. But most importantly, she basically has a bloody nuke ability. It does cost 250 Realmstone, but it can just annihilate entire squads. Entire armies, quite frankly. So the dock is tier 3. Looks like we had a loss over here to these raptors. Raptor's very vulnerable in the middle here. He's just going to sacrifice them, apparently. Flying Land Raiders. Yeah, maybe not that good. Maybe... I don't know what the comparison would be, actually. With Dawn of War 2. It's a tricky one to think about. Because they're not only like flying Terminators in strength, they have these wipe abilities. Okay, this is a really bloody scrap right now. We've got units dying all over the place. Those guys are going to get caught out. The Doc losing another Raptor squad there, but Vindy, ooh, just retreated those Evocators in time, but he's forgot about these Raptors. These Raptors are going to get taken out. No, he hasn't. He retreats them just in time as well. Oh my god, nearly killed by the crossbows there from the Hunters. Very, very close. Tier 3 is now here for Vindicator as well. He is purchasing, when will I learn? It's G I need to press. But it doesn't work. Oh my gosh. Okay, Annihilators are the choice here for Vindicator. Fair enough. Tier 3 shield unit. They are basically Terminators. The Doc gonna be going for... what? What's he got? He's tier 3, but he hasn't actually got any tier 3 units. That's very weird. What? I don't know why the Doc does this. When he techs, he doesn't get the higher tech unit out first. I have no problem with back-teching to the cheaper units that only cost command later. But for your first purchase, when you get the new tech, you should be getting the elite units if you can afford them. I guess he doesn't have enough Realmstone. You see here that this is at 62% this point. Well, that is draining the natural plus 10 that this point should be getting. And making it only plus 6. And I guess this is stalling the Doc's tech really badly. Because if you look at these tier 3 units here, look at the tier 3 hero. 320 Realmstone. Insane. 250 for the Storm Drake Guard and 200 for the Annihilators. The Doc doesn't have the Realmstone to get any of these, and Vindy, in fact, has now upgraded his outpost with a second upgrade here. So you pay 700 in tier 1, and then he's paid 900 to upgrade it further, but now it gives him 25 Realmstone, not 10 extra every proc of income. So Vindy's economy right now is booming. You can see that there is a little bit more command from the Doc because he got this command point, but ultimately that's not the problem for him. He is spamming ample tier 1 units. Command is not the problem for the Dockerson. He needs that Realmstone. So again, perhaps illustrating how this is not really that valuable. Having more of this Realmstone is really valuable. And to compound that further, when you do get those tier 3 units out, whether it is the Lord Celestant with a 250 Realmstone nuke, whether it's the Storm Drake with their fireballs and fire breath, or whether it's the Annihilators with their charge ability, they all cost tremendous amounts of yellow Realmstone. So again, having the upgraded point here is probably a better use of your command. Vindicare has actually gone... sorry, not Vindicare. It's annoying when they're both X's. Dodocussin has actually gone for tier 4 here. You can see immediately because he's now up to 16 pop. But tier 4 doesn't actually access any new units. It just increases your maximum pop. But it does give you the ability as the Stormcast to call in units via Deep Strike, which we just seen there. The Prosecutors appearing out of nowhere. So we'll see how effective this can be. Again, though, they're only a tier 2 unit. I mean, you know, tier 2 sword unit, fair enough. Who was that just died there? Oh, I don't even know. Where are the Annihilators? Did the Annihilators die? Wait. No, they're on the field. Where are they? They must be somewhere here. Oh, there they are. Well, I say they, it's just the one Annihilator. Okay, so now Vindicator's taking tier 4 as well. Is the Doc going to be able to make a comeback here with his Deep Strike tech? I just feel like he's got no Realm Stone though. Once Vindicator starts pumping out a few more tier 3 units, I don't know how Dodokasin's going to be able to compete with that. Good matchup for Dodokasin right here though. He's obviously got his Prosecutors here, dicing through the tier 1 Liberators. Really dicing through them. Raptors are the best choice here, but they're ultimately not going to push them off the point for a while, so Dodokasin putting on a tremendous amount of VP pressure right now. He needs to. He's quite far behind on VPs. He hasn't caught this VP. Why? What is he doing? Oh, he has. Just the UI is being dumb again. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. So it is a 2-to-1 cap in favour of Dodokasin right now. We can see some flanking Evocators there. Oh, the Lord Celestin is the choice for Vindicator, so we're going to have to watch out now for a Call Forth the Storm. I don't believe you can use it when you're in combat. You need to be out of melee, but trust me, this is an insane ability if you can hit a blob. And remember, all these abilities do full damage and retreat in this game, so it can be very deadly. We're seeing the use now of the channeling heal from both of the Vexillers. A big shield there from the Evocators too. Where are those Evocators? I don't know, but a lot of people are dying. Another Deep Strike Liberators. What we got going on over here, we've got some Raptors getting took out in melee by this Hunter. Those Hunters probably want to get into melee too. You can see just how powerful this Lord Celestin is. Man, they have been in combat for so long and they're just so durable and powerful. Evocators did manage to get onto the point over here, and it was a really nice choice sending the Evocators because they're so good at 1v1ing units, and they will finish off the Hunters there for Dodok. Well, Celestin can't really be beaten. Looks like the Liberators sneaked around the back and killed the tier 1 hero for Vindicare. Obviously a lot of action going on all over the place right now. These Raptors getting ambushed by the Prosecutors. To help deal with the Flyers, of course, because they are countered by ranged units, you want to layer your ranged units to cover one another. So if the Flyers lie and start meleeing one of your ranged units, they're still going to get shot by another one. That's generally the best way to counter them. Annihilator's going to be moving out to the front again. A lot of losses here. You can see the pop slowly decreasing for both of the players. Very atrocious fights all over the map.
We bring vengeance from a seer.
Gonna take some time to get rid of the Liberators here when you've only got your ranged units. We do have some... Okay, some Prosecutors coming in from Dodok as well. That would be useful. Got the ability here from the Prosecutors whilst they're flying. They can do this sort of channeled blast attack, Celestial Barrage. But too many units. Here's the layer. Look at the layer. We've got the layering perfectly. Gonna wipe out the Prosecutors there for Vindicare. Vindicare mis-microed them. And lost another unit down here as well. Vindicare. Vindicare losing a lot of units. But he's still good on pop. He's got so much Realm Stone. Where is the Wrath of the Storm ability from the Lord Celestin? That's what I want to see. Where is the Lord Celestin? Okay, they're healing in base. They're full health now. They need to get them back in the action. This ability could be the game changer. The minimap's a bit funny when I click it. It doesn't always move me there. It's rather weird. So Lord Celestin going to go back out to the natural VP. We got some Prosecutors on there. Oh, and the counter Deep Strike here from Vindicare. It's quite funny actually watching the SEE mirror in tier 3 where they're both just deep striking units on top of one another constantly. Dodokasin's VP is getting very low. Obviously Vindicare holding the 2-to-1 right now, trying to stall for as long as possible out here, even though it's costing him units to drain those VPs further for his brother. Should be noted, if you are deep striking units, as you can see down here. It does cost a premium compared to buying them at the base. So it doesn't completely circumvent buying units from the base. It's quite powerful, isn't it? The ability to just drop a counter wherever you need it. Now we see the counter's going to come out here. Liberator's been deep striked right on top of the ranged unit. Oh, here we go. Wrath of the Storm. Call forth the Storm, whatever it is. I feel like it should be called Wrath of the Storm. Clearly wiped a lot of units out here, but didn't actually kill the squads. These raptors are going to get back to the base still alive, and it looks like someone sneaked through from Deduxin. We had another squad of Vanguard sneaking through, so Deduxin currently has the 2-to-1 cap. There's a lot of VPs behind, though. 100 to 300. The AoE ability here from the Raptor Hurricane in Tier 2 doing some good damage to the Hunters. Gonna wipe them. Get on the point. What's going on over here? The Deduxin now has a Storm Drake Guard. This is what I was referencing. Using his Draconic Flame Stream, massive AoE spike damage, but more units just being deep striked in. Killing this Lord Celestin is very challenging. Are you retreating? No, just walking away. Why? What's he doing? Get the Lord Celestin in the fight. Lord Celestin is going to charge into the fight, hits the Storm Drake Guard with a charge and then slays it. The Night Vexler are going to die here to range fire. Walls clearly no obstacle in this game. Long strike shooting through the walls with no problem. But the Lord Celestin, man, look how powerful they are. Look how powerful they are, man. But the moment that it retreats, deep strikes in another squad of Liberators. Thomas is saying in the stream that's a very Pokemon-looking sexy dragon. Yeah, it is. I think it's because it's meant to be a Drake. I'm just calling it a dragon. I know all the dragon nerds out there are going to be saying, hey, it's not a dragon, it's a Drake. I don't know.
Get moving now.
In my fantasy lore, I always figured that if it breathes fire, it's a dragon. Drakes shouldn't be able to breathe fire. More Annihilators for Dadok. But looking rather outnumbered here, and you can see looking at the pop, he is a lot of just tier 1 units, which is not really ideal. An ability there. The, what's it called for the long strikes? The pinning shot. It's like a big linear piercing bolt that does good damage and stuns. Well, going to be using his charge here. Yeets the enemy Annihilators flying, but he actually overcharges a bit. And... okay, that's another deep strike. Man, this is chaotic. Wait, did he just... no, he charged through. He's not retreating. Units are just dying all over the place, man. That was a good charge with the Annihilators to yeet his enemy off the VP and get back onto it. But the problem is... nope, he actually has 2 VPs right now. Okay. Strange that Vindicare never contested this. Okay, now he's contesting it. Makes sense. What can Dadok send over there? You see, normally you'd be thinking as an SEE player, oh, it's okay, I've got a deep strike. But his opponent also has a deep strike, so it's a little bit awkward. It's kind of like a game of chicken. If you deep strike in the unit first, then your opponent can deep strike in the counter after. You see here, Prosecutors deep striking in to try and deal with the Annihilators. Sword beats Shield. Now Dadok can deep strike in another ranged unit over here to shoot them. Guess he doesn't need to, he's already got 3. Dadok sneaked over some Hunters onto the VP here. He's flying over some Prosecutors. Honestly, I feel like this Lord Celestin has been the best unit though for Vindicare. They're deceptively good in melee. I'm going to wipe out the Prosecutors here. Oh, Evocators onto the back line. Yeah, it's kind of hard to use range units in tier 3, isn't it, against Stormcast Eternal when they can just drop Evocators and Liberators onto your back line every so often. Tier 1 hero getting sniped there by the long strikes. Of course, we've seen Prosecutors called in to deal with the Evocators. That's what I'm saying, we like the game of chicken. If you're the one who deep strikes first, then you just open yourself up to being counter deep striked by your opponent. But the problem is, the Lord Celestin is killing everything on the natural VP. And there is no single unit that can deal with the Lord Celestin. So how is Dodokosin going to be able to contest this? He is now bleeding his last 60 VPs. Now he's losing his prosecutors as well to a duo of overlapping raptors. Got himself some line of sight to drop some Vanguard Hunters in, but I don't think they can do this. They're fighting Annihilators, a tier 3 unit, and yeah, way too much range support. Those Hunters are going to get wrecked. And nothing can kill the Celestin. Some good damage actually coming in from the abilities here of the Raptors.
Slay in Sigmar's name.
But lots of VPs have been bled. 2v1 firefight will favour Vindicare down there, healing up the Lord Celestin on the field with this channel from the Vexilla. Nicely done. Again, calling in that big tier 3 nuke ability there. More units deep strike. I mean, it's relentless. Once both the players have deep strike, it is relentless combat, that's for sure. Can't complain about a lack of combat. Charging in there to the enemy Vexilla. He is so low on VPs. He needs to get this right now. And if he loses another VP, it's over. I don't think he can do it. He can't kill this Lord Celestin quick enough. No. He's going to run out of VPs. He's got nothing to contest this VP down here. Guarded by the Liberators. And Dodokosin X is going to be running out of VPs. It is the win for Vindicare X. Well, what do you think, guys? Was that more entertaining than a Space Marine mirror in Dawn of War 2? I don't know. It's hard to commentate the game when I'm also trying to explain mechanics. At least by the end of this, you guys should have a decent idea of what the hell is going on. And so that won't be needed now. Let me check the bracket. So that was a best of one. Sad. Sad. Big sad. So Dodokosin and Adilla are going to be out of the tournament. Let's refresh the page. See who else is moving forward. Top 3 Control is now facing off against the tourists. Let's see if they're in game actually. Right, hold on. Let me see what the other guy's streaming right now. When the friggin' ads stop, Jesus. Why aren't my streams linked to Discord announcers? What do you mean? In the DAO 2 Discord, that would be because Baton's got it. Only Dawn of War 2 streams pop up. I think the game's decent, Trash Gerdo. Look, I'll be honest with you. The campaign is completely AAA. Really enjoyed it. I would recommend. But realistically, the multiplayer is going to be dead. So if you don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't get it. Or I'd get it with a key. Real talk. But it's an RTT with cool mechanics. If you like Age of Sigmar, why not? But yeah, the multiplayer probably not going to last. It seems to be the curse of RTT. Right, let's have a look. So, okay. Saturus and Top 3 Control are in game. So I'm going to be disappearing for a bit, I guess. Wait for these guys to finish their match, and I will join them in the next one because they're going to be playing best of 3. Oh, no, actually, what am I talking about? I can do Attack Speed, Enjoyer, and Dodokosin. No, not Dodokosin. Vindicare. Dodokosin was just knocked out. Attack Speed Enjoyer, are you still in the chat? Yeah, you are. Okay. Wanted us to wait till top 3 and the other guy are done. Alright, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the tournament's going relatively fast here. So... Oh, Saturus, by the way, who is the other guy who's fighting against top 3 control right now. Saturus was pretty much the best Iron Harvest player for a very long time. So that's where he comes from, Iron Harvest. I don't know where he came from before that, though. Which is quite interesting to think about. So we'll wait for them to finish their, I believe, first game. And then we're going to join and watch Saturus play the remaining games of their best of 3. And then once that's done, we're going to watch Attack Speed Enjoyer face off against Vindicare X, and I'm so happy we're going to see more Orruk. I didn't think we were going to see any Orruk here, and we're getting to see even more Orruk, which is very cool. We've got representation from all of the factions, which is beautiful. So I will be back in maybe 5 minutes or so, and I'll see you then.
They have one more match. Feel free to jump in if you want. If you drop top 3 a message quick, I think he's hosting. I'll say if you want to jump in to spectate there. Yeah, they still have one match to go. If you want to jump into theirs one, Torpid, if you message top 3 and invite you as a spectator, I'm going to jump into this semi-finals here. Who are you facing? What was going on?
Okay, so it looks like we're just going to be casting Vindicare again. A little bit of SEE versus Orruk. Oh dear, I need to get some tea. I'm not used to this streaming lark, and it's deadly on one's throat. I'm telling you. Boogie, what are you going on about, man? He's talking about smegma in the stream chat. I mean, that's how you know these guys are European. Ain't no American boys talking about smegma. Because they're all cut, right? You get me? What's Lethal Company? Is that a game? Hello? Why has my stream just died? Okay, I don't know what just happened. It's alright, it's not died. You guys are with me, right?
May need to get these guys to restart. Yes, they'll be on private, you can... No, I think it doesn't matter if it's on private, if you're inviting them direct. You can't invite direct because apparently he's offline at the moment.
Keck. How do I join as an observer? I don't know. Yep, there we go. Just need to wait for it to be full. Apparently. So the way this works for the best of 3 is you play on Boneyard of Giants by default, and then the loser gets to pick the next map. So I don't know what they're waiting for exactly right now. He's ready. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it, Vindy. Show him the power of the Sigmarines. I'm a little bit torn here because Orruks are my boys. So I want the Orruks to win, but Vindicare is coming from Dawn of War 2, so it feels bad to abandon him. I didn't set up a command for the bracket. It was a little bit impromptu, as usual, for a Torpid stream. Here we go, folks. This is going to be a best of 3 between Attack Speed Enjoyer and his Orruk, and Vindicare X with his Stormcast Eternal. Let's see how they fare. So clearly we got the Orruks down here at the bottom. Let's hide the... Wait, how do I hide the Fog of War? Oh yeah, there we go. I realised I probably should have been doing that a long time ago. Oh well. It's cool you can hide the HUD as well. I do like the observer system here. Here we go, we got some Hobgrot Slitters. These guys are pretty cool. Very, very cheap. I really like the mine ability that they've got here. You don't want to use it in the early game, because you won't have enough Realmstone. Certainly in Tier 2, I like upgrading these and using a lot of their mines. They can be very, very strong. There's not a lot of units that actually can detect in this game. So the mines are very strong. As they fight as well, they will reinforce models whilst fighting, which is kind of cool. But super vulnerable to any AoE because of how many models they've got. So straight away, some nice harassment here from the Warboss. This is exactly what you need to do if you're playing as the Orruks. The Warboss is your best asset early on. Really tough boy. Yeah, and he gets the upgrade to increase his health and damage straight away. But a little bit of a counter charge there from the Hunters of Vindicare, going to put some work into him. He can stay around for a little bit longer. You got to be careful of a flank from ranged units in the retreat path. There are none yet though. But attack speed can't really scout that. He hasn't got units everywhere, so he should be wary. Did he just wipe that squad? Oh, he did! The Warboss just took out that Hunter squad, and he's going to kill this squad as well, I think. But maybe die to the Raptors. Ooh. Well, that actually is a good trade for Vindicare. Very timely purchase of the Raptors there. Turned up at just the right time to finish off that Warboss. Definitely worth trading a Tier 1 Hunter squad for a Warboss. It's a brilliant trade for Vindy. Over here, the Night Vexillor is just taking on some Gut Rippers. That's a very good trade for Vindy. And some Liberators going to come in, push these Bolt Boys away. Gut Rippers will lose this fight against this Liberator, I'm pretty sure. Oh, especially with Raptors coming in. Has attack speed noticed? He has. He's retreating them. And they will just about live. So the Warboss going to come out again with some new lads. Oh, he loses the Gut Rippers over here. He forgot about them. The Night Vexillor is going to wipe out the Gut Ripper squad there. So we've got another fight here. We've got Hobgrot Slitters versus Hunters. Generally an even fight, but again, with Raptors, not so much.
Your boys is losing the superior position.
So the Liberator's down here, not easy to counter. So what's he got here in terms of composition? He's only got 1 Bolt Boy, 2 Gut Rippers, and... Oh, he's going to go for 3 Gut Rippers. I think he's got too many Gut Rippers, personally. I wouldn't have this many. I like 1 Gut Ripper, because the Warboss kind of functions like a Gut Ripper. He's very tanky for range and stuff. Get a couple of Slitters and a couple of Bolt Boys. That's what I'd get. But we'll see. Gut Rippers banging on their shields using the scare tactics here to debuff the Hunters, but I don't know who's going to win this trade. Hunters obviously favourable matchup into the Gut Rippers, but the Gut Rippers had more HP in the first place, so it's looking like a very even fight. Gut Ripper's going to be claiming that point, and a little bit of a scrap up here with the Warboss as well. Warboss once again putting on a lot of pressure onto the Hunters. Just going to advance onto the Raptors. In fact, going to charge into them. Probably a little bit unnecessary. Yeah, Vindicator actually catches that. Good micro for him. Retreats perfectly. Looks like the Gut Rippers won that fight. Yeah. Hunters had to retreat. Too low on HP. You see, that charge there costs 60 command, whereas the retreat for Vindy only costs 30, and he's right next to his base and can come back out again. So it's kind of like throwing away resources, charging in like that. Both players have got their first Realmstone Siphon up. Yeah, well, it kind of is. It kind of is, Bruce. Kind of is, mate. You know what to expect. It's a niche RTT. Nothing new there. Got a stealth upgrade here from Vindy, which is very unconventional. Setting up a beautiful pincer attack. This is not a good spot for these bolt boys. Getting charged in the rear. Chopped up. They need to retreat. They do. Only one Raptor here. They should be okay. Yeah, they'll be alright. It is a brand new game, yeah. It's a brand new game with less players on Steam than Dawn of War 2. It's not Warhammer 40k, it's Warhammer Sigmar. Age of Sigmar. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's niche. RTT's niche, and Age of Sigmar's pretty niche as well, so... Raptors catching the Warboss again there. Brutal. That's not good. I don't really know why he was engaging in that fight there. It seemed like a very disadvantageous fight for attack speed. Oh, that wasn't the boss at all. That was just Gut Rippers. The boss is down here. And needs to be careful. Dude, if the Raptors open up on him here, he's going to die. Why is he taking this fight? Yeah, just don't risk that. It's not worth it. Going tier 2. Vindicator's already tier 2. So let's see how Vindicator adapts facing against the Orruks. We've seen him go for Evocators initially against the other Stormcast Eternals, but against the Orruks, you know that the opponent is likely to be going for Troggoths, which are a shield unit. So if you're Vindicator, you probably want to get out more Prosecutors this time. But he isn't, he's just going for Evocators. Okay, he's not changing his build. I think then Evocators into Sloggoth? Man, I'm always getting Troggoths and Sloggoths confused. I think Evocators into Sloggoths is a very good matchup for the Orruks. Simply because the Evocators will lose models and lose effectiveness as they fight, and they can't heal out of combat, whereas the Sloggoths don't lose models and can heal out of combat. But we'll see, we'll see. At the moment, the tier 1 units are definitely getting wrecked for the Orruks. They lost another squad of boys just there. Losing a lot of map control. Slitter's going to go down the side. They'll be alright. I really feel like he should have more Slitters. They're so cheap, and he's going to be facing double Evocators. Now, he hasn't seen them yet, but when he does, he should be doing that. And when he's got multiple Slitters, if you don't use the bombs, you can get the Trained Stabber as well, which increases their damage against heavy units. So that would include the Liberators and the Evocators. Look, they're not going to beat Evocators 1v1, but they're going to be very cost effective given how cheap those Slitters are. The other no-brainer upgrade would be to get the Crew Drummer here on your Sloggoth, and they will heal and reinforce your allied units when they're out of combat, which is very, very impactful. Needs to be very careful with these Gut Rippers. They're tanking the Raptor shots for now, but yeah, they've got to get out of there. A little bit of a miss micro with the Bolt Boys here, getting them into melee with the Liberators. But nothing too major. Are they going to die? The Raptors should really be refocusing on the Bolt Boys. They are going to live. Slitters controlling this area. If you have 2 Slitters, then you can beat Evocators quite easily. Bomb going off there. Not doing a lot of damage because he doesn't have the upgrade from Berium. And I like this play from Vindicator, keeping the pressure on, healing with his units on the front line. Using the ability here from his Vexilla. Good play from the Shaman, flanking around the Raptors. Raptors really need to retreat. He does have fire on the move, and he could be able to chase them down. Bit of a misplay from attack speed. Oh, that should have been a wipe, but he's not microing him. If he kept walking him this way, he would have wiped them whilst they were retreating. Killer Boss back out on the field, but he's fighting a little bit isolated. Oh, the Evocators went to go decap this point, and whilst they did, it's left them the VP open for a little bit of a flank there from the Grots. However, Vindicare is just in a great position right now. He's putting pressure onto this Siphon. Even if he doesn't destroy it, which honestly right now it's looking like he might do, Bolt Boys are going to do nothing to these guys. Even if he doesn't destroy it, as he's draining down the capture of this point, it is ruining the Realmstone income for attack speed and preventing him from being able to get to tier 3. Okay, he's going to engage them with the Slitters. And he's going for the upgrade. Wow, that's so risky. If another unit came in and targeted this thing, it would destroy it very fast. The power nodes are extremely vulnerable whilst upgrading. You have to be very careful. But a big push whilst this is happening from attack speed onto the natural VP of Vindicare. Vindicare, though, encircling him beautifully, to be honest. Getting great matchups all around, charging in onto the Shaman. Potentially follow up with the Raptors. Think the Shaman should live here, only just. Oh, but he got off the Black Pit, and the Black Pit there going to get a kill on one of the squads of Hunters for Vindicare. Not a huge deal, only a tier 1 squad. Pretty cheap at this point of the game. Hobgrot Slitters were forced off here. In fact, they got wiped. Oh, this is looking bad for attack speed. He upgrades his post, but he doesn't actually own it right now because these guys have been in here for so long, they've drained it down to 0. Nearly killing it, too. More Hobgrots. They need to get over here. The second squad of Evocators turns up. We've got Gut Rippers trying to stall them. But they're only on 3 models, which is not really ideal. They did have a big shield there from the Shaman. But this is not great. Maybe a big swing from the Warboss. No, the Warboss is just advancing. I really think the Warboss should have been attacking the shield unit there. These Evocators getting quite low on HP right now. But they're getting healed up by the Night Vexillor, and the main threat really on retreat would be the range, which they are quite resilient against. They're very desperate to destroy this Grot Mine, quite frankly. If this Grot Mine goes down, this is over for attack speed. He's already in a pretty rough position. No map control for him. Oh wow. Shaman's gonna die to these Raptors. Oh, he just gets out alive, just. But the upgraded Grot Mine goes down, and that's it for attack speed. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, he concedes. No. Poor little Orruks. Poor little Orruks. I think generally you're bad tier 1 for attack speed there. I don't know about Gut Rippers. I'm really not... I don't like Gut Rippers. They don't trade well against anything. Two squads of Gut Rippers will struggle to beat one Liberator. All they've got to do is use their tier 1 yellow ability, and they can solo 2 squads of Gut Rippers. They don't do much damage. I don't like them. I would be going for 2 squads of Slitters. In theory, I think Vindicare going for the Evocators is actually advantageous to the Orruk player, because these Slog-Offs, as I said, trade so well into the Evocators, and then I would have 2 squads of Slitters, and I would get an additional one in tier 2, so I'd have 3 squads of Slitters. Then you get the tier 2 upgrade to increase the damage that the Slitters do to heavy infantry, and you've actually got a decent amount of shield damage. Then you, as the SEE player starts getting more and more troops, they start getting lots of prosecutors to try and kill your slog-off spam. You're alright. You get your upgraded Realmstone, you can spam your 100 Realmstone nets, And you can get to tier 3 and start getting Troggoths, which can deal with Annihilators, the Lord Celestant, and any Evocators that are still hanging around. Then you can get the damage over time upgrade on your Bolt Boys, and then they can put more pressure onto any Prosecutors that exist, as well as countering any Drakes that come out. And the Drakes actually can be quite good against Orruk, I think. Whilst they're not very meta against the Nighthaunt or the SEE, the value of the Drakes against the Orruks is the ability to one-shot the tier 1 squads. Bolt Boys and Hobgrots will get one-shot by the Drake if it lands and uses its Fire Breath. So you will see Drakes. Also, the Drakes obviously can easily kill Slug-Offs, but they need to be careful of the nets. Nets plus lots of Bolt Boys split up so they don't all get wrecked by one Realmstone attack from the Drake. I think the Orruks are alright with that. You see, if you think about the Gut Rippers, it's really hard to win in map control, because if the Gut Rippers encounter Liberators, they lose. If they encounter Hunters, they lose. They only win against the Raptors, and therefore as the SCE, you don't get a lot of Raptors. And if you do go Raptors, you don't send them solo anyway, because if the Raptors encounter Hobgrots, and the Hobgrots catch them with a charge, the Hobgrots will win anyway. So you want to send them with your Liberators. So if the Hobgrots encounter an isolated Raptor, they win. If they encounter Hunters, it's an even trade. And if they encounter Liberators, the Hobgrots win. And the Hobgrots are cheaper. So, and the Hobgrots have better scaling in terms of tier 2 against Evocators, because Gut Rippers are just redundant compared to Slug-Offs. And that's why I think Hobgrots are just better. But you still need some ranged assets, because they're useful to get retreat wipes, they're good at positioning plays, and your War Boss should function like a Gut Ripper in that he's a tank. And combining the AoE spin ability from your War Boss, which we've not really seen too much of, combining that with a forced knockback that it does, you combine that with crossbow bolts from your Orruk Bolt Boys, and that can generate a lot of wipes. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, attack speed and Joy is going to change it up a bit. I don't feel like he was particularly out-microed there. I just felt like his composition wasn't really cutting it. He kept finding himself in bad unit matchups all over the place. Yeah, it is, isn't it, Baton? Baton's saying, hearing use ranged for retreat wipes sounds weird. Which it obviously does, coming from Dawn of War 2, where that's precisely not what you do. You see, that's why I like the new spin that these silly little offshoot RTTs have. It's just shaking up the RTT formula a little bit, you know? I do think this is probably the only RTT I can think of where they've actually implemented flying units successfully. Shit, even RTS. There's not a lot of RTS games that have well-implemented flying units. Halo Wars did it fantastic. I'll give it that. Anyone that's played Halo Wars 1 should remember the Banshee spam from the Covenant. That was effective flying units. But they're really cool in this as well, because they have a lot of tactical value. They're good for the map control, but they're also good at circumventing tanky blocking melee units that are forcing you to blob and leaving you vulnerable to ranged units or to AoE attacks. And if two flying units fight well, they engage one another in the sky, they do lock into combat and start fighting as well, which is really cool. That might be more pertinent later on if Vindicare goes through and he ends up fighting the Nighthaunt, the undead faction. Their tier 2 flying unit is a shield unit. So very annoying to get onto your backlines and attack your ranged units. So you actually can counter it by getting prosecutors who will beat them in the sky in a ranged melee. Not in a ranged melee fight. In a flying melee fight. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. There are power nodes in this game and they're very important, yeah. Did I just actually... No. No! Let me in! Oh, you're kidding me. No, this is not what I want. Oh my god. Let me in. Dude, what is this? And this was the disconnection problems I was talking about and the reason why I stopped playing ranked. Yeah, I think everyone got DC'd. Alright, well, that's better. That's a better situation than just me getting DC'd. Okay, we're back in. What the fuck, dude? Dude, it is worse than Soundbug. Well, actually, it's not. It's not really, is it? It's just as bad. It's equally as bad as Soundbug. Both of them boot you out your game, force you to make losses if you're playing ranked, and just cause general chaos. Hey, you'll be really happy to know, actually, Paige. Backcapping power nodes in this game is extremely effective, even if you don't destroy the node. Can you believe it? So if they build the power node, it gives them actual power income. But you can get rid of all that power income, albeit temporarily, by going within the zone of control of that point and pulling it all the way down to 0 control, and then they'll get 0 income until they cap it back again. It's not as good as destroying the power node, because if you destroy the power node, then they'd have to pay to build it again before they can get the income. But it can seriously, it can win you games. Just decapping the power, basically, can win you games. I don't know why we're waiting so long on the server here. It's concerning me. It's concerning me deeply, to be honest. Why are we waiting? Oh, come on, come on. Do it. Okay, we're in. Oh yeah, shit, we're on a new map now. Thank God. I was getting annoyed with seeing the same map repeatedly. Here we go. Game 2, Vindicator's already up 1. This is a best of 3. So Vindicator only needs to win 1 more of these to take the whole thing. Let's hide the fog of war so we can see both the players. Vindicator over there in the red, of course, playing as his Stormcast. It's annoying how my hotkeys don't work here. Okay, we've got dual Hobgrots coming up here for attack speed this time. I like the look of it. Prioritising VPs early on. Wonder if we'll go for the same initial tech. I think the Warboss did very nice last game. It was very unfortunate getting the squad wipe right at the start, but then he lost the war boss. If only he got the wipe and then got out, it would have been a great start. And it got completely flipped on its head. I find it odd that Vindicare sends both his Liberators down this way, so I don't think that's strategically wise, because the Liberators can't really help you deal with whatever they're going to encounter. Look at that charge from the Hobgrots. Caught the Liberators just at max range, but they will dice up those Liberators. One of the Liberators already dead. Yikes. See, these Liberators coming down, I don't even know if they're going to help. They probably will win the fight, but it will be very close, and that just feels like a very bad use of these assets for Vindicare. So nothing else coming over from attack speed. Okay, now the Raptors are rotating over. They will be a lot better. The effective DPS from the Raptors as a ranged unit will be much better against the Hobgrots here. So those Hobgrots need to retreat. They do. They're scarpering, as you heard them say. Gut Rippers in the centre, though, were caught by Hunters, which is the counter, and yeah, attack speed going for the double Gut Rippers again. This is the problem. So you just seen 2 Gut Rippers now were thrown at this one squad of Hunters, which doesn't really cost any more. The Hunters cost 140, the Gut Rippers cost 130, and the Hunters are going to beat both of them. Really inefficient. And now the Gut Rippers are here, and they're going to lose to the Liberators. I really don't like this from attack speed. Imagine if he had Hobgrots there. They would kill the Liberators. No, I don't like all these. Oh, he's gone for full melee. He's gone for 2 Hobgrots and Gut Rippers, no range. Okay, that's interesting. So this is where now Vindicare can just get a lot of Hunters and dominate. Wow, this fight in the middle has been going on forever, but the Hunters will win it. And the Gut Ripper's going to get caught out there and wiped. What about in the mid? Oh, they got wiped in the mid too. Attack speed and Joy was too busy watching his war boss. So he's going to lose 2 units already. That's not good. This is going to delay his power node quite a long time here. Vindicare must have been using quite a bit on charges, because he doesn't have enough for a power node either. So I guess that's not too bad. Hobbrot's got the charge on the Hunters here, so they will win this fight eventually, which is nice to see for them. I'm really a big fan of the Hobgrots, guys. I don't know if you've picked that one up. So first Power Siphon coming up here for Vindicare. Still a little bit of time for attack speed. You see, he's going to win this fight, but I have to question, is winning this fight really worth it, given it's now delayed his Power Siphon for so long? Maybe, but these are the things you have to consider in the game, given that those charges do cost command. Now, if he catches the Raptors with a charge, he will win the one-on-one, but the Raptors will do a tremendous amount of damage to them if they're just free to shoot. So they've got to be careful with their engagements. It would have been a better idea to put them here. Then the Raptors would have to come all the way around. It's easy to tie them up. Yeah, so he's got the bigger bombs here with his Hobgrots. That could be quite useful. We'll see. Our ranged units caught here. Oh, he got some boat boys in the end once he lost one of the Gut Rippers. But Bolt Boys caught in belly by the Night Vexillor is not a good situation for them. They need to get out of here. The War Boss will beat the Night Vexillor quite easily one-on-one, especially when he's got this Fight Like Mork upgrade. Gut Rippers, yeah, should rotate around and get onto the Raptors. What about on the side here? Looks like some good engagements. Yes, you see the Liberators have to flee from the Grots, which cost less than them. They're very, very cost-effective little boys. And now they can drop a bomb too, but potentially, nope, it gets them out. I was going to say potentially a loss there for them. So they're going to drop a little bomb down here somewhere. That's it right there. That is invisible. I don't even know how you detect invisible things in this game. I know certain abilities can, but they're very, very rare. Not a good engagement for the Gut Rippers here. Caught by the Hunters, who will beat them one-on-one, getting shot in the back by Raptors. We did get the power node, of course, for attack speed at some point. So a pretty even game so far, to be honest. Attack speed can actually go tier 2. Oh, actually, no, Vindicator is actually quite far ahead in tech. Vindicator's already been going tier 2. Attack speed needs to start his tech. He's floating quite a bit right now. Vindicator is already tier 2 and has a squad of Evocators and a squad of Raptors, which he just lost, coming out right now. So, yeah, attack speed really needs to start his tier 2. He's going to get behind loads. He's now going tier 2. But this is tricky because he can't heal or reinforce while he's teching, and he lost a squad, so he's down to 5 squads, and Vindicator, of course, is pumping out more units. He now has some Evocators on the field, I believe. Where are the Evocators? Where are they? No, not yet. He doesn't, I guess. Does he? Nope. Not yet. They'll be coming out soon, I suppose. Maybe you didn't have enough Realm Stone to be able to purchase them. More Gut Rippers for attack speed. I don't know why. How many Raptors are there? There's barely any. Like, why are you getting Gut Rippers? What are they meant to counter? They don't counter the Liberators. They lose them one-on-one. They don't counter the Hunters. They get absolutely slaughtered by them. They're useless against the primary threat of Evocators and Prosecutors in tier 2. And they're redundant compared to your Slug-Off in tier 2. So I don't get it. Another Siphon built for Vindicare. No, it's not another one. What am I talking about? I'm getting confused because attack speed built his on this side, the west side. Vindicator's built his on the east side. Fair enough. Okay, we've got Evocators down here now for Vindicare. And we've got the Slug-Off on the way for attack speed, the first Slug-Off. Attack speed definitely behind here. He's got the triple cap against him. All of his units are going to have to spend some time healing in base before they can go back out onto the field. Not a lot of Realm Stone in the bank. Is he getting another thing? Yeah, he's getting Slitters, Slitters, Slitters. Yeah. Needs to get this. Trained Stabbers. Let him do more damage against Liberators and Evocators. If you get that upgrade, 2 Slitters will take on the Evocators, which is quite nice. Because otherwise they're a fucking pain in the ass. This is going to be a bad engagement. I've just seen the heal coming here from the Night Vexler. Ooh! The stun comes out. Does that cancel his ability? Holy shit, it does. Wow, that's so strong. It's not that it just delays his ability. He pays the 60 Realm Stone to activate it, and it just shuts it down. Oh, what a beautiful net. Okay. Maybe he can make a comeback with good use of nets like that. Needs to make sure his Gut Rippers are actually stood on the point, though, so that he doesn't let the Night Vexler just cap it for free. And his Slitters need to be fighting together, and they really need to get the Trained Stabbers upgrade as well. I mean, he had the 2-to-1 cap, but he's going to be losing it now. That was nice. You see the damage there from the upgrade mine into the charge. That was quite well timed, but Vindicare's wise to it. Vindicare's got 2 good micro for that. It's just going to retreat out, and the Evocators, even with 3 models here, will beat the Slitters one-on-one. The other Slitters are now nearly fully healed. They need to join them, and he needs to get the upgrade, but he is very lacking right now his attack speed on Realm Stone. Probably should upgrade this to the next tier. He's got loads of command right now. Get 25 Realm Stone instead of 10 per proc. Oh, they use their Empowering Aura as well to the Evocators, which seems like a bit of an excessive use of Realm Stone for Vindicare, but he actually has the upgraded point himself. You can see here due to his 25 Realm Stone income. And so they're going to be able to stomp these Hobgrots with their big shield from their ability. He's not paying attention. Attack speed is looking in the middle at the moment. Oh, that is a nasty ability there from the Raptors. They've got that tier 2 upgrade for the Hurricane. Oh my god. Yeah, a lot of damage. And he lost his Slitters down bottom. Again, attack speed is finding himself lacking in units. I think his main problem, honestly, is way too much over-reliance on Gut Rippers that are just bad. I'm going to be honest. They're probably the worst unit in the entire game. Don't even buy any. You get one by default, just that's it. That's all you need. Unless you're against Tzeentch, don't bother. That's what I'd say. It's getting another slug off, but I mean, Vindy is just getting more and more units. Vindy has this upgraded Realm Stone, getting crazy income. Attack speed is upgrading his now, but he's just so far behind in tech, man. Let's have, yeah, Vindy's going tier 3 with a lot of resources in the bank. Be able to get a Drake out, one-shot all these Gut Rippers with the Flame Breath, rip the Slug-Offs to pieces in melee. Yeah, I don't know, dude. So once the... Wait. Can you use the nets whilst in melee? That might be like a way to balance the nets as well. If you can use them whilst in melee, make it so you can't. Most abilities you can't use while you're in melee. But man, the Stormcast are just ripping through these Orruks here in spite of the nets. You see, the problem with the nets is, yeah, great ability and all that, great to turn these army versus army fights, but that just costs attack speed 200 Realm Stone. And Vindicator is already one tech higher with 300 in the bank. He now just spends 200 of that to get some Annihilators on the way. I do think that Storm Drake would be better here. The breath from the Storm Drake would literally one-shot any Orruk tier 1 unit. So if you get another blob fight like that, you can just annihilate those of them. And in terms of a one-on-one fight, the Sword Dragon unit will beat the tier 2 Shield Slog-Off unit. This guy getting pretty low. I was going to say, I don't think this is a suicide because he doesn't have full pop. It wasn't a suicide, he just retreated too late. Okay, just relying on tier 1 units here, which is proving to be a bit of a struggle. Probably needs to retreat, he's not going to win that fight. You just lose so much DPS once you start losing models, as any Dawn of War 2 player will know. And that's precisely why these slog-offs are so strong. They don't lose models. Even when they're 10% HP, they're doing 100% damage. You can't say the same for other squads. Is this the... what's this? Whoops, I'm the wrong player. The Lord Celestant is on the way. And a Storm Drake Guard. Brilliant. Vindicator's getting every single tier 3 option that he has right now.
We're under attack.
Yeah, attack speed is just... he is so far behind. He's getting a 4th Slug-Off? I mean, look, Slug-Offs are great, but they don't beat tier 3 units. So, like, to kill this motherfucker over here, this Lord Celestant, you really need a Troggoth, a tier 3 melee brawler. Attack speed, fair play to him. He does have a lot of Realm Stone. This could be useful. It gives him lots of nets. But he's so far behind in terms of VPs, though. Clearly just stalling right now with his Slug-Off. Mismicroed his boat boys. Let them get into melee here when they should have been turning around and helping the Gut Rippers beat the Hunters. Yeah, I think the easiest way to balance the Slog-Offs actually is make it so that they can't use their nets in melee. Because that seems a bit weird. Vindicator needs more Storm Drake Guards. they will... I'm quite sure that they could 2v1 slug-offs. Probably even if they use nets. Net is 100 realm stone. But you can see there's now 760 for attack speed. I didn't realise you could use it in melee. That seems to be the main thing, because most of these abilities you can't use in melee. Here comes the breath, should one shot. Yep, there you go. This is why they're so good against Orruks. The breath will one-shot any... Yeah, I mean, one Stormdrake guard should be able to easily beat 2 slug-offs in melee. And then the breath from the Drake will kill any tier 1 Orruk squad instantly as well. So you catch the enemy in a blob fight, you land, you breath, you kill all their bolt boys instantly. And with my style of play where I'd have 3 slitters, you'd also kill the slitters instantly. So it is pretty strong. Wow. Oh my god, look at this. It seemed like that was pretty good in terms of draining the VPs. If you didn't know, attacking the HQs will drain your opponent's VPs. I don't know, because he already had the 2-to-1 cap, so... I mean, you could say that about anything. With mass melee, you can permastone everything, right? You can permastone annihilators. And ballistas, I'd say, you counter them even better with things like Drakes, because you flank around. I think the problem is people just send them in from the front, and then they get wrecked by things like ballistas and tier 1 ranged units, but obviously they can fly. One of the biggest weaknesses of Orruks is their immobility, because they don't have any flyers. But like right now, the Drake is very isolated. You know, you've only got a Knight Vexillor, who is arguably the worst hero anyway, and then some 2 model Liberators. Not very strong. All the units flinch when they get stunned. The melee units don't hit back either. Like right there. See all that time before they meleeed back, and now they start kicking. Fucking hell, that just melted them. I do think the Hurricane Raptors are better than the Long Strikes, generally. But yeah, attack speed and joy here, just too far behind in tech for a very long time. And it all came out of the tier 1. Really got quite dominated in the tier 1 fights. A valiant effort to try and come back, but there's only so much that the slug off spam can do. And once again, going to drop that on the base. Obviously there's no base resistance here. That's very, very strong. Yeah, I like it. Very good. Obviously Vindicate here using super late game assets against an opponent that's significantly behind in tech. And you can see the result. It's going to be the dub for Vindicare, 2-0 in favour of him. So, who's he going to be playing against? Let's see if the brackets load for me. They weren't earlier. Ooh, it was a 2-1 for the other lower bracket, the Saturus versus top 3 control. So it's going to be Vindicare versus Saturus in the finals. I don't know who's playing who there. I see Nighthaunts going around in their other game, but I don't know if Saturus was a Nighthaunt. I don't know if both of them were Nighthaunts or what. I am going to go get a cup of tea and hopefully not miss things. I'll be back shortly. The Drake has a flinching animation when he gets hit by a normal attack. And whilst flinching, he doesn't hit back. This is not my experience. I would have to lab this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Just doing it again. There's often a sort of like an animation that he's getting hit, but it still seems to do damage. I think that's something that's quite common in a lot of it's quite common in a lot of like RTS and stuff. I think it's in Total Warhammer when you get matched animations and it doesn't visually look like things are taking damage, but the damage is proccing. I mean, look, show me a video if I might be wrong. I'm not saying I've seen it that much, but from using the Drakes a little bit, regardless of whatever the animations do, they don't seem to have a problem being stunned in any way that other units don't have. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's annoying that I can't, like, right-click and join as a spectator. I have to wait for it to fill up first. Cosmos Fantasias said he thinks I know my name from Indrid Cast. Indeed, you... Well, forget Indrid Cast. What about Torpid Casts, bro? Oh my god, they're already starting and my dog's appeared. Come on, you. Come on. Oh, so Saturas, the dirty tryhard, is playing as the Nighthaunt. Oh my goodness. Why does everything have to happen at once? Yeah, well, I used to be... I was the best Dawn of War player for... Dawn of War 2 player in 1v1 for, you know, about 4 years or so. But I retired a while ago, and now mostly just cast. Right, so... oh, I have provided dog pics on Discord. They are there. I'm just not a very picture person, so I don't take many pictures, to be honest. I probably should work on that. But the cool thing now, guys, is that we're getting to see Nighthaunt for the first time. Now, you will see immediately, looking over here, the pop cap maximum in Tier 1 for the Nighthaunt is 8. And this is part of what I think makes them absolutely broken. If we swap to Saturas as well, we can have a look at some of the abilities. So this is the hero, the Knight of Shrouds. He's fine. He will actually lose a 1v1 against the Knight Vexillor, but this ability will change things. And this ability is actually, in my opinion, also very overpowered. So, the Knight Vexillor ability, it's channeled. So if there's a big army fight and it's going badly for you because the Knight Vexillor is using his AoE heal, you can disengage. The Magister of Tzeentch has a channeled ability. It does a lot of damage, but it's over time, so you can disengage. The Orc Warboss, his big AoE swing ability, it requires him to be in melee, so you can run away or disengage. Not so with Lord Gloam's ability. He shoots off this fireball in front of him, and it does damage over time to the enemy, but it only needs to touch them once, and then it does the damage over time for the full duration, as well as heals him. It's very, very dangerous. Note that Liberators, with their Aegis ability to give them a shield for a mere 30 yellow, can one-on-one Lord Gloam. But look at this. Look at the damage over time. Look at that. If Vindicare retreated just 1 second later, he would have lost that squad of Liberators. And this, by the way, guys, is a beautiful example of high-level gameplay, because you've seen that the reaction there from Vindicare was immediate. And he actually, just to linger on this, I know I'm missing other things, but this is super important. Vindicator only used 30 Realmstone with his Liberator, and he forced a 60 Realmstone investment from the hero of the Nighthaunt. That's very important. But the problem with fighting the Nighthaunt is just the absolute mass amount of units that they have. So they do only have access to sword and ranged units early on. They've got the Chain Rasps here, the sword unit, cheapest unit in the game, but still relatively effective. Oh, this is a bad spot for the hero. The hero is dead now for Vindy. And part of the problem for anyone fighting the Nighthaunt is that these ranged units of theirs, with an upgrade here, get increased attack range, just like the Orruk Bolt Boys. They also get increased damage against heroes, which makes them so good at sniping your heroes, especially because, again, they have max pop of 8 in the early game instead of 2. Yeah, you're not wrong, Innie. The hero for the Nighthaunt does do a lot less damage in terms of his actual stat line. He is a bad stat kind of fighter. Like, he loses to the Vexillor one-on-one, and the Vexillor gets wrecked by the Warboss, which tells you how bad he is at fighting. But I still think the white potential and his ability is too good. And the other thing is, he gets shields. Like, Nighthaunt should always lose one-on-ones because all their units get shields. Will that hit? Oh, that did. That's weird. So, Vindy's doing pretty good so far, actually. Actually, Vindy is doing amazing so far. Saturus is now building his Realmstone, but Vindy's a little bit ahead. He's got a good amount of Realmstone more. Generally, as the game goes on, the Craven Throne Guard sort of lose their potency. Wow, this is a great engagement for Vindy. You can see here, Liberator's obviously been a shield unit. Not really taking much damage from the Craven Throne Guard. How many has Saturus purchased here? He's letting this one die, which is weird. What's wrong with him? I don't know what he's looking at. He's gone for two. He's got 2 Chain Rasps and 4 Craven Throne. I think 4 Craven Throne, 3 Chain Rasps is pretty normal. I wouldn't go for 5. Some more Liberators and the Raptors in the back. Probably is worth your Aegis Shield here. Vindy's not using it, so this is going to be a difficult engagement for him. Oh, he does use it, but a little bit late now. Not as potent because he's lost models already. And he actually gets caught there by the charge of the Chain Rasp, so he's going to lose this Raptor squad. Vindicator is going tier 2. It's actually funny, losing a squad whilst going tier 2 is kind of okay, because you can't reinforce whilst you're going tier 2, but you can purchase new squads. He is now tier 2, already purchasing a Raptor squad. Liberators are fighting their hearts out over here. Yeah, that's a good point from Minikura as well. In that last engagement, you've seen that the hero for the Nighthaunt used his ability, which is called Stolen Hours. He used it rather early, which means he didn't get the advantage of the healing on his hero. He was already getting the Raptor before he tech tier 2, just to replace the one he lost. Did he get another Raptor? Oh, he did. Why are they doing this? Okay, Vindicare currently has 6 Liberators and 2 Raptors. This is ridiculous. He needs more Raptors than that. You don't need 6 libs. Jesus, man. The libs are very tanky, but you need DPS. The Raptors are your DPS. But ultimately, he needs tier 2 units as well. He's now getting Evocators. So again, he's just getting more and more shield units, which is going to make him extremely vulnerable when Saturus finally gets to tier 2 to Hexray spam. And Saturus is now going tier 2. I think Vindicare is a little bit skewed in his build here to the shields a bit too much. Only 2 Raptors, and he's now got 7 shield units? That seems quite excessive to me. Oh, the Spectral Bolts ability there from the Craven Throne. An amazing ability. Damn, he wipes a squad of libs there. What, is the stream lagging, you're saying, Doc? And another one gets wiped out now as well. Optimistic with the charge there. The Evocators will be able to spank Lord Gloam. This is a good engagement for them. They obviously don't take much damage here from the ranged. What's going on over here? Libs holding out. Need some support. Oh, what a beautiful Stolen Hours. Helping Lord Gloam tank for a very long time there. I'm not sure that Sigmar's Aegis was really needed. And another Spectral Bolt. Spectral Bolts is a problem, to be honest. The damage that does, the ability here from the Craven Throne Guard is kind of insane for the amount of Realmstone that it costs on a tier 1 unit. But the Guard just need to disengage here. They're not really going to achieve a whole lot. It's an absolute spam of libs here from Vindy. Are we getting Hex Wraiths yet? Saturus' first purchase is going to be a Guardian of Souls. I find this very odd. So that's the hero, tier 2 hero for the Nighthaunt. It's a mage. So it won't do tremendous damage at range, really, against all these shield units. So I find it a bit odd. It does have a healing ability, but it's quite expensive. I don't think really you need that healing ability when you're playing Nighthaunt, because you outnumber your opponents so much anyway in terms of squads. I don't think you really want to be using a Realm Stone to be getting a lot of healing. I've just noticed as well, Saturus actually has 2 Realm Stone siphons right now. Yes, reinforces too. When I say healing in this game, basically all sources of healing will reinforce the squad's models as well. So that includes like the healing from the Knight Vexiller's ability and the Guardian of Souls ability. There's an ability for the Chain Rasps that they can get in tier 1 that I like as well, which allows them to just reinforce models and heal constantly. Now he is getting Banshees. Okay, this is odd. This actually doesn't make any sense. I don't know what Saturus is doing right now. He needs to just be spamming Hex Wraiths. It's not that difficult. Vindicare is quite simply dogmatically spamming shield units. Look at this. He's got 5 Liberators and an Evocator. He's got 6 shields and 3 ranged. Saturus needs to get mostly Hex Wraiths. 1 Banshee, maybe even 2 Banshees in the later game, because these Craven Thrones are going to be becoming less useful now. Maybe 1 or 2 Banshees is useful to get onto the back lines and pressure the Raptors. But the majority of what Saturus should be purchasing right now is Hex Wraiths. They're the tier 2 sword unit for Nighthaunt, but not only are they great as a sword unit, they're really quick. So they're just great for map control. I think map control on this map actually is a little bit less important, because you'll notice the distance between the contested VP and the natural is quite short. There are some other maps where it's a lot bigger, and there's also other maps where no VPs are natural. They're all contested, and on those maps the Hex Wraiths, again, with their extra speed, are quite useful. But this is a good engagement here for Saturus. Obviously, you got the Banshees there on the ranged. Ooh. Okay, yeah, he's alright. He manages to get them out. Honestly, it's not a huge deal if Saturus starts losing Craven Throne Guard at this point of the game.
Our control of the arcane energies has increased. The enemy are pushing forward.
I don't know why Vindicare is buying Vanguard Hunters. I would not be purchasing them. I guess in the back lines to protect the ranged units from the Banshees, but it's kind of redundant. They take forever to kill the Banshees. Just save up for Prosecutors. Prosecutors can beat them in the sky. Now, Banshees have an amazing ability as well called Spell Eater. It silences enemies nearby, so it prevents ability usage, which, yeah, against Stormcast is really nice. It stops all their shield abilities, which is really good. And it also downs flyers, which can be sometimes useful. Another squad of Liberators. Ooh, I was going to say going to die here. Not at all. They just managed to retreat in time. A big A move down in this direction. These Hunters need to be very careful. They're going to get melted by these Craven Throne and the Guardian of Souls. Yeah, they're going to retreat out. Liberators caught in a 1v. No, they're okay. They've got support here with the Raptors. You can see they do pretty good. Obviously using Aegis again.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Vindicator at some point has got his upgraded Realmstone Siphon. Very important that he defends that. If he loses that, that would probably be GG. Hopefully there is no use of the Spectral Bolts against the building, because I've heard that will, like, instantly kill the building, which seems obviously completely broken. Where are Vindicare's... Vindicare concedes. Because he's going to lose his Siphon. Yeah, I mean, he needs Prosecutors. He needs more Tier 2 units. Too many Liberators. Not enough Raptors. Those Liberators needed to swap out into Evocators a lot sooner. And probably a squad of Prosecutors to counter-initiate the Banshees. You need to make use of all your AoE abilities against the Nighthaunt. So the Prosecutors, when they're flying, dropping down those magic missiles, can be very good against Hex Wraiths. You just got to keep flanking with your shitty little Liberators constantly to pressure the Craven Throne Guard. But the homing missiles ability there from the Craven Throne Guard is undoubtedly completely overpowered. The amount of damage it does chaining from multiple squads and doing full damage in retreat, it's it's pretty bonkers, given that, you know, this is such a cheap unit on a faction which has a pop in tier 1 of 8 and it only costs 40 Realmstone from that ability. Kind of is definitely overtuned. I feel like Saturus made a lot of tier 1 mistakes that game. But yeah, I don't know, things definitely changed in tier 2. I was very shocked when I looked at Vindy's composition and seen that it was just 6 Liberators, 1 Raptors at one point. That's not right. That shouldn't be your composition. Whose units are weaker? Nighthaunt units aren't weaker. The 95 command basic sword unit for the Nighthaunt can tango perfectly with Hunters, which are 140, and it can beat Liberators, which are 150. Now, obviously, that's sword versus shield, but still, you've got to get Liberators, because they can get so many Craven Throne Guard, they'll just shoot you off the map if you don't get Libs. But then your 150 Libs get countered by their 95. And Craven Throne Guard do less DPS than Raptors, but they get a shield and they have more range. So I don't think they're worse. And then they do bonus damage against heroes, which makes them do equal DPS to Raptors against heroes. Except you're the Nighthaunt, so you can get an extra 2 of them compared to how many Raptors other factions can get. Bolt Boys are quite nice against the Nighthaunt because they can match the range on the Craven Throne Guard. It's true that one-on-one, the Nighthaunt units will lose against units of the same type in an isolated fight, but the thing is, they have shields, and they cost less. So, like, the 8 pop would be balanced, I feel, if the Nighthaunt units cost the same. Because units that get shields should be weaker anyway. I don't know how much they fall off. I haven't played enough against super high level players. But from my experience, they seem to be fine. Like the Mongols are amazing in tier 3. I guess Grimghast are pretty bad, the tier 3 melee unit, just because they've got too many models, so they get DPS bled compared to the alternatives like Annihilators or Troggoths. Banshees and Hexwraiths I think are amazing, just because they're so mobile. I feel like Nighthaunt, I mean, they're like Tyranids in Dawn of War 2, they require really good micro to play at the top level, But they're just so OP at the moment, it doesn't even matter you win even if you're terrible. Just moving them around. But consider that you've already got more units than the enemy. Your Banshees are flyers, so they need to be flying and moving around the side of the maps constantly. Flyers are very micro-intensive to use optimally. Hexwraiths have an ability that's about 30 Realmstone, which makes them invisible and get extra movement speed. Which, again, is amazing for map control. I mean, yeah, these guys are just... Ugh. Using them optimally is a lot of micro, but they're so good. I think the Hexwraith should always get the stun upgrade immediately. As soon as you buy them, you should get that upgrade. Why? What are your thoughts on it? Stuns are just so powerful in this game. I think Vindicare is clearly obsessed with evocators. And don't get me wrong, evocators are good, but he should be using more prosecutors. The Tzeentch tier 1 combo of 1 Acolyte charges, 1 Acolyte Doombolts, you should be doing that in tier 2 with your prosecutors as SEE. Either Liberators or Evocators should be going in and tying up the enemy. Prosecutors should be sending Zeus lightning bolts from the heavens down into the foes. If you have 2 prosecutors, you can get real fancy with it, and you can time it so that you fly in with your stun damage ability, the one that costs 100 plus command, with one of the prosecutors, and just as you activate the ability, you swap to the other prosecutor and hit them with the lightning bolts. That combo is amazing, because then the stun stops them retreating out of your lightning bolts for a while, and that can wipe nearly anything. Indeed, even if... well, I think what is it, free? I think free prosecutors are needed for their charge to wipe a tier 1 squad. But if you time it to do the lightning bolts and the charge, that can just wipe a tier 1 squad instantly. If they don't retreat before the charge procs. Very strong. And again, it's map control. It's the speed is so powerful. Yes, like Orruk nets can counter flyers. Don't have your flyers near the slog-offs. I always get slog-off and trog-off confused in my head. Not sure what they're waiting for, to be honest. Let's have a look. Oh, they don't want me to stream. Oh, brilliant. Oh well, there you go then. Just to keep it fair on lag, apparently. Well, there you have it. I'll send you over to Homeboy. And my apologies to the YouTube. You're not going to see the final. And that's what I get for not hosting tournament myself, right? He said to keep it fair in terms of... Let me read what he said. I think to keep it fair / lag free as possible, we will drop it down to 1 streamer. So, yeah. I mean, you can make up your decision yourself on that one. I don't think that's the problem with the game. I think, quite frankly, he's chatting shit. But, yeah, whatever. I don't know, someone must have complained about lag. Doc, what's going on? Why is he chatting that? Has Vindy been crying, saying that he's getting wrecked by lag? It is what it is. I might, it's so sad. Like, I'd have loved to do some matchup deep dives in this game, but it just feels like it's a waste of time when there's more players playing fucking Dawn of War 2 right now than this goddamn game. Like, it's got dedicated servers. Observers would have absolutely no impact on lag. Doesn't make any sense. He's just chatting, fam. Chatting. I'd love to do a showcase versus Vindy with my Orruk. I want to show the Orruk from earlier how it's done, because he made so many mistakes. So many mistakes. Anyway, I guess we're done, guys. I can't stream it. The tournament host is not letting me host the finals, so that is going to be our little tangent with Realms of Ruin. I'm shrugging IRL right now. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. The game's cool. It has a lot of spins on RTT, and I respect them for doing that. I love RTT, and it's great that they're trying to innovate that genre. But ultimately, whether it's RTT or whether it's the fault of Age of Sigmar, I'm not sure. But it's flopped. So you're probably not going to see much more of this again. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. Have a good fucking Christmas.